I never knew a doctor's hands could set me on fire. The moment Dr. James Larson touched me, a blaze erupted between my thighs, raw and uncontrollable. I was supposed to be at a routine prenatal checkup, just another pregnant woman visiting her gynecologist. But when his strong, steady hands rested on my belly, his fingers gliding over my skin, I caught my breath, sharp and desperate. His touch was gentle yet commanding, sending a pulse of heat deep into my core. "Relax," he said, his deep, velvety voice smooth as silk. But how could I relax when my body was betraying me, aching for him? His fingers slid lower, adjusting the waistband of my maternity leggings as he examined me. My thighs instinctively pressed together. I shouldn't feel this way, not while carrying my husband's child. But my body didn't care. Dr. Larson's gray eyes met mine, darkening, as if he could read the forbidden thoughts swirling in my mind. Was I imagining it, or did his touch linger? My nipples hardened under my top, a flush creeping up my chest. My breathing quickened. I swallowed hard, shifting on the exam table, trying to hide the ache pulsing between my legs. "You're doing great," he murmured, his fingers pressing lightly on my lower abdomen. His voice alone sent shivers through me, my walls clenching with a need I couldn't ignore. I should have felt ashamed, disgusted, but all I could think about was how desperately I wanted those hands to explore me further. That was the moment I knew this man wasn't just my doctor. He was temptation incarnate, and I was already too far gone. I should have stayed away. I should have ignored the hunger raging inside me, burning hotter with every thought of him. But each appointment with Dr. Larson only deepened my craving, an obsession I couldn't control. I started dressing differently for visits, tighter leggings, low-cut maternity tops, just to see if he'd notice, and he did. His gaze lingered, his fingers tracing my skin a second too long. His voice grew huskier when he spoke to me. Then, during one routine checkup, the inevitable happened. I lay on the exam table, legs slightly parted as he caressed my belly. "Your body's responding well to the pregnancy," he said, his tone soft, but his touch was anything but clinical. His fingertips drifted lower, his eyes locked on mine, and I gasped at the way my body ignited under him. I should have stopped him. I should have pulled away. But when his fingers slid further, pressing against the throbbing warmth of me through the thin fabric of my panties, a moan escaped my lips. "You're so beautiful," he whispered, his breath hot against my ear. I didn't stop him. I couldn't. My back arched, pressing into his touch, craving more. My heart pounded as he eased the fabric aside, his fingers, finding my wetness, claiming me in a way that shattered all reason. I bit my lip, stifling a cry as pleasure surged through me. "You need this, don't you?" he murmured, slipping a finger inside me. I was lost, my body trembling under his command. My hands gripped the exam table, my breaths short and desperate. Guilt should have stopped me, but all I could feel was him alive, desired, utterly undone. Just as I teetered on the edge, a knock at the door shattered the moment. Dr. Larson pulled back instantly, adjusting his coat as if nothing had happened. My chest heaved, my legs still trembling, my body screaming for more. Next time, he said softly, his eyes dark with promise, and I knew there would be a next time. That day came. My water broke in the dead of night, and my husband David rushed me to the hospital. My body was racked with pain, my mind a storm of emotions. But beneath it all was an undeniable truth: I was about to give birth, and the only man I wanted in that delivery room was Dr. James Larson. When he walked in, a wave of relief crashed over me, his presence calming me in a way David never could. He placed his hand on my belly, his touch firm yet tender. "You'll do great," he whispered, his voice sending shivers through me despite the agony. Hours passed in a blur of pain. David held my hand, murmuring encouragement, but my eyes were fixed on Dr. Larson. Every touch adjusting my position, checking progress, guiding me through contractions, carried the same heat, the silent desire that had grown between us for months. In the quiet moment before the final push, when David stepped out to take a call, Dr. Larson leaned close, his lips dangerously near my ear. "You look so beautiful like this," he whispered. His fingers brushed my damp forehead, then traced down my cheek. I gasped, not from pain, but from the way my body still burned for him even now. My breath caught as he lingered, his fingers grazing the curve of my jaw. "When this is over, you know where to find me," he said, his voice heavy with meaning beyond medical care. And just like that, the moment passed. David returned oblivious. With one final push, my precious baby was born. But as I held my newborn, something inside me had shifted. This wasn't the end. My longing for Dr. Larson hadn't faded, it burned even fiercer. Because now, I wasn't just his patient. I was his in a way I couldn't deny. I used to believe love was enough, that if a man was good to me, faithful, and provided, my heart would always be his. But standing before Dr. Larson, my skin still tingling from his touch, I realized love had nothing to do with this. It was need-hunger obsession. I'd gone too far to turn back. Back home, David tried. He cradled our baby, kissed me. Goodnight, ran his fingers through my hair like he always did, but I felt nothing. My body had been awakened by another man, and my husband's touch felt like a stranger's. Dr. Larson was a flame I couldn't extinguish. Our encounters grew more frequent, stolen moments becoming more desperate, more reckless. I lived for those appointments, for his whispered promises, for the way his hands claimed me in ways that had nothing to do with medicine. Then, one evening, as I stood brushing my hair before the mirror, David spoke. "You've changed," he said softly. I froze, my heart slamming against my ribs. "What do you mean?" He stepped behind me, our reflections locked in the mirror. "You barely look at me anymore. You're always lost in thought, and when I touch you, you pull away." Guilt gnawed at me, sharp and relentless. But even now, standing beside my husband, my mind drifted to Dr. Larson, to the way he made me feel alive. David sighed. "If there's something I need to know, tell me." His voice was laced with sadness, a plea I should have cared about. But I didn't. I'd already made my choice, and it wasn't him. The day I invited Dr. Larson to our home, I should have been nervous. But I wasn't. David had forgotten something and rushed out that morning saying he'd be back soon. It gave me just enough time. I wore a silk robe, loose and revealing. Our baby lay on the couch, kicking tiny feet, playing with a stuffed animal. She was too young to understand a thought that steadied me. What I was about to do wouldn't leave scars. When Dr. Larson arrived, he didn't hesitate. The moment I let him in, he pulled me into his arms, his lips crashing against mine. His hands roamed my body, claiming every inch with the same hunger I'd craved for weeks. "God, I've missed this," he murmured, his voice rough with desire. I led him to the couch right beside where my baby lay, blissfully unaware. My breaths were shallow, my heart racing as he touched me in ways that made my body tremble. Then the front door creaked open. A cold spike of fear shot down my spine. David. It happened too fast. His footsteps stopped. The air in the room thickened with silence. My husband's eyes widened as he took in the scene. Dr. Larson. My robe barely covering me, the undeniable tension crackling between us. For a second, no one moved. Then David's face twisted in pain. You, he said, his voice low breaking. In our home, next to our child. My throat closed, shame and panic crashing over me like a tidal wave. Dr. Larson stepped back, his expression unreadable. David's hands clenched into fists, his body trembling with betrayal. I came back for my wallet, he muttered, his voice raw. His eyes bore into mine, searching for an answer, an explanation. But what could I say? That it was a mistake, that I didn't mean for this to happen. We both knew that was a lie. The silence stretched between us. Then David laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. I hope he's worth it. And with that he turned and walked away. I wanted to call after him to say something, anything, but the truth sat heavy on my chest. There was no taking this back, no undoing what I'd done. I'd destroyed my marriage. For what? As the front door slammed shut, reality hit me like a fist. I'd crossed a line I could never uncross, and now I had to live with it. David didn't come home that night or the next. At first I thought he was at a hotel clearing his head. But deep down, I knew he wasn't the type to walk away without a fight. And I was right. A week later, my world collapsed in ways I never imagined. It started with a phone call. Dr. Larson was at the hospital when security came for him. He was handcuffed in front of his colleagues, his reputation shattered. Accusations of sexual misconduct with a patient. I knew instantly David was behind it. I tried calling him, but he wouldn't answer. Then came the final blow. David filed for divorce, not just any divorce. He sought full custody of our son. He hired the best lawyer in town and painted me as an unfit mother, a woman who disrespected her marriage, her family, her own child. Every secret meeting, every stolen moment with Dr. Larson, David had documented it all. Bank statements, phone records, even a private investigator who'd tailed me to the clinic. He'd planned his revenge with surgical precision. In that cold courtroom, I was already a defeated woman. David didn't just leave me. He took everything, my son, my home, my dignity. As I sat staring at the man I'd betrayed, a chilling realization hit me. He wasn't hurting anymore. He was satisfied watching me lose him. And in return, I lost everything. I'm so grateful for all my amazing subscribers. Thank you for listening to the end. To my loyal followers, I love you even more. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Virtual hugs to you all.